Welcome to the Lakeland Community Podcast, a collaboration between Lakeland Media and the Lakeland Business Department.
Welcome to our first episode of the Lakeland Community Podcast. I'm here with the owner of Kodiak Landscaping, Bob Pedatella. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
I did. Okay, good. So tell us about life at Lakeland. We'll start at the beginning. Like, what was life at Lakeland like for you?
So I graduated in 1994. Okay. It's 30 years, which blows my mind.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Goes fast, I'm sure.
Yes, it goes really fast. When I started here, freshman year, I had Mr. K. He was a new teacher. He just graduated from Rutgers for landscape architects.
Wow.
So he started it was a new class, brand new class. It was called horticulture.
Oh.
So he was a big idol and a role model to me. I was very interested what he talked about. We talked about, it after class, and that there's a career in landscaping.
Okay.
And it was something I really wanted to do.
That's fascinating. I know that when I was here, horticulture was here, but I don't know if I think it was Dr. Everson.
Yeah, he wasn't here that long.
Okay.
There was, he had other things he did. He was also the wrestler coach too.
Okay. Were you a wrestler?
No.
Okay. I didn't know if you had him as a coach or.
No.
Okay.
But he was a role model to me, and there's a lot of different things I wanted to do.
That's incredible. Like, I think about your business in the community and just seeing the trucks everywhere, and you guys have done such a good job, like with marketing and outreach. You guys are everywhere, and it's so interesting to think that started here at Lakeland.
Yes.
From your freshman year.
I'm
That's
actually very proud of that.
Good.
It's actually a funny story. When I was 10 years old, I didn't really know that much about landscaping, but I got a used ride-on sitting tractor, and I went around the block, and I was just asking people if I can cut their lawn to make some money.
Yeah.
So that's how I really started.
Wow. At 10 years old.
Yeah. I just wanted to make some money, and I wanted to do something else outside and work with my hands. At 14, I actually worked 3 summers for the Wanacue Road Department for summer help. I got minimum wage. I got to learn how to drive, the trucks, the equipment, the heavy machines. I learned how to do the ball fields, and that's what was really interesting to me. So I drove the tractors. I got to cut the football fields, the ball fields, all the parks around town. I learned how to line and drag the baseball fields, and that was really good to me, because it was something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I put my Walkman on, and I just sat on the machine, and that's what I did during the day. And I got to learn from these older guys from town that were actually all from town.
Okay.
So, it was something that was interesting. The Addis Park Memorial? So it was me and Rick Crescenti. He taught me how to do masonry work, and I helped build that memorial.
The sign on the side. That's amazing. Yeah. And it's been there since that time?
It's been there 48, and it's been there since I was 14.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I'm sure when you drive by that, you take a sense of pride in that, right?
I do.
It's like this, it's part of the community. You see it all the time when you go down there for ball games or things like that. That's really neat. That's cool. And so from there, did you kind of decide you wanted to incorporate that into your business? Because I think that's a huge part of your business, right?
Yes, now it's masonry work and pavers and retaining walls. Freshman year at Lakeland, me and my friends were just sitting around and thinking of names, just of different landscape companies. And one of my friends came up with the name Kodiak Landscaping. So then junior year, I saved up, and I got an old pickup truck, and I put Kodiak Landscape boards on it. And, after sports, I would do lawns with my friends. And
so you employed them?
Yeah.
Smart.
I employed. Yeah. And we had fun together, and we got to work, and we worked around town. And a lot of the customers were actually our teachers.
That's amazing.
Either from Lakeland or Wanacue or Ringwood School or our coaches. I still cut my coach's lawn.
That's so
My football coach from 8th grade, Rick Murren. And I've been cutting his lawn since I was, I don't know, was it 12 years old?
So it's like your longest customer.
Yeah,
all
he's
this
one of my
time.
longest customers.
That's amazing. How cool is that? And you just get to see like different life phases too, right?
Yes.
It's really neat. Like I think teachers, especially myself, like as a teacher, I think of how I support students, but you kind of forget the other side of it, right? Like that they're also supporting you in turn, right? You get to kind of mentor them and then you get to see where they end up in the world, and you've been so successful. It's so cool.
Yeah, and that's actually a really big part of that I enjoy, is seeing my teachers and my old teachers and them saying, wow, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
You know, at the stoplight 3 years ago, I saw Mr. Evangelista.
Yeah, sure.
He was my metal shop and my auto shop teacher, and I saw him at a traffic light, and he's beeping his horn, and I look over, and he's like, Bob, remember me? He's like, Mr. E. He goes, every time I see your trucks, I'm so proud of you.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I saw Miss Swighart.
Okay.
Did you ever have her? She was an
I
English
remember the
teacher,
name.
and she was one of my hardest teachers on me.
Just like
And
gave you.
I just thought she hated me. I saw her at what is it? It was the Prime 15.
Okay.
I saw her. This is maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And she still looked the same. And she said, Bobby. And I heard that name, and I was like, wow, that's Miss Swighart. And same thing with her. She's like, I'm so proud of you.
You know, it's so funny because your story is interesting to me. My first year teaching was actually at West Milford. I always get like afraid to say that. And I had a student that year who I know has been very successful in West Milford, and he wrote me this business plan about how his landscaping company was going to be this huge company. And I went to a friend's house recently, a couple months ago, and I saw the sign that said his landscaping company, and it made me smile because I got to be part of that. And I'm sure your teachers feel the same way, and it's cool that they express that to you.
So after Lakeland, you know, I continued my company. I had scholarships for pole vaulting from Lakeland, but I ended up going into the landscaping. So I went to County College of Morris for landscaping and management design.
Awesome.
There I can continue my work, and I can, you know, go further with my career.
Sure.
So I did that, and then after I graduated there, I ended up going to Rutgers and taking class at Rutgers, because that was something that I wanted to do for Mr. K.
Oh, you were like, I'm going to do this. Like,
Yeah, I really wanted to go there. And at the time, I still had my friends working for me, and we were still building up the company.
Sure.
My first year being, my dad only gave me 1 year, which was not really 1 year, it was only 9 months. So he loaned me some money, and I worked really hard. I had to maintain an average dean's list to be in school so he'll continue paying, and I had to run my own company.
Wow.
So
what was that like?
It was very hard because all my friends were partying and going to their schools. I was able to see them on the weekends, and I was able to do my work. My first year being 18, I grossed $78,000. My dad loaned me $30,000, so I gave him his money back. And he didn't realize there was that much money in landscaping.
Wow. And this was still the 90s, right? Late 90s
Yeah,
this
was 94, 95.
Wow. And so from there, you're like, okay, there's money to be made here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick with this.
Yes.
At the time, you were just doing lawns and that stuff. You hadn't gotten into the masonry yet?
Not really the masonry, but we're doing like railroad ties. We're doing plantings. The plantings were, you know, we were doing really well.
We had railroad ties. I feel like they were like all the rage in the 90s.
And we're still doing railroad ties. For some reason, people still call us for railroad ties.
That's funny.
And we're really good at it, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, what got us into the masonry was it was a drought. There was a drought, and we couldn't do plantings. This was, I think, around 96. One of my friends, he sold pavers, but I met him at Rutgers, learning we did like an outdoor hands-on safety course.
Okay.
So he's like, Bob, you got to do pavers. And I'm like, I really don't know how. And he's like, I'll help you. You know, just get some paver jobs, I'll help you. And he just sold pavers.
Wow. So networking was helpful.
Yes.
Like connections.
Yeah, and that was, you know, freshman year in college, I joined the New Jersey Landscape Contract Association. And from there, I got to meet guys in my field, guys I look up to, and they actually helped me, told me what to do.
Wow.
So they told me the mistakes that they made, and so I can be better.
Yeah.
And from there, I ended up, you know, I started as Sergeant at Arms, and I moved up to Director, and then I went to Vice President, and then I went to President at, I think, 21 or 22 years old. So I was like the youngest president they ever had, and still to this day. Currently, I'm the chairman of the board of the association.
That's incredible.
And I owe a lot of the New Jersey Landscape Contract Association to my company.
That's amazing. And so I'm sure through that association, you've also made a lot of new networking contacts and met people.
I have friends that I've been with for like 30 years.
Wow.
And we talk or text or help each other. Hey, don't get that saw, get this saw. Or this saw worked really good for me. Or, you know, this guy doesn't fix your trucks really well.
Okay.
We also network and talk to customers, you know, about customers. You know, did this customer call you? They called me. They're not a good payer. Or, you know, this is a good customer. You know, if I see, you know, I'm going on an estimate and I ask and I see it's, you know, a guy I work with or a guy I know, I won't go and, you know, give them a price.
Okay.
Some people do get mad at that. And I'm like, well, you know, that's my friend. And if you got a price from him, I'm not going to give you a price.
That's great, actually. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
That, you know, that's amazing.
So it's just working together to help each other out, to get a goal that we all want.
Yeah, I imagine now thinking on a larger scale that there's a lot of competition and that can be challenging.
Yeah, I don't think there's competition. I think there's I think the homeowner doesn't know.
Yeah.
That they're not educated.
Okay.
So, you know, a lot of homeowners, they can just pick someone that they know or they think of or see a nice truck or heard it from another friend, but they can't be, you know.
Sure.
They don't know what's going to happen.
Sure.
So 99% of my work is like word of mouth. So people know Kodiak, they know what I'm going to do, they know how I work.
Yeah.
I get excited on the job, sometimes too excited, but that's what I like.
Yeah.
And I can't sleep at night. I need to work. I need to finish this job, and I want to do it. I want to make it happy for the customer, but also I want to make it happy for myself.
Sure. At this point in your career, does your day look different than it used to? So I'm sure you used to be the one doing a lot of the work. Are you more like delegating and overseeing now? Is that challenging compared to like wanting to?
Yeah, because sometimes I miss, like, you know, using the hammer and laying pavers, and that's why I started. And sometimes I think I went to college and I got all this education, and I have 30 years experience, but I have to go to Ford and pick up a starter for a mower. You know, a motor for the engine of the truck, or I have to talk to this person and find out, you know, I have to order mulch. You know, I'm setting up the job. So yeah, I do miss the everyday stuff.
Yeah, that makes
I'm mostly
sense.
doing schedules now. I'm doing estimates. I'm meeting with people. I'm making sure the jobs are right. We do have an office manager, so she helps a lot.
Okay.
She does the stuff that I don't really like.
Yeah.
So that's the HR, you know, anything with the payroll, you know, any complaints that the customers have, I kind of push it on her.
Yeah.
She handles all the payments, you know, and she does the invoicing.
I was going to ask about the finance part of it.
So she handles a lot of that stuff.
That's great.
Which helps.
Yeah, that does help.
Because I don't like doing that.
Yeah, like the information systems for the billing, like all of the things that people, you know, you don't think about, and I teach this stuff, so I think about it all the time, but, you know, when you have a skill set that's unique like yours, this is what I'm good at, and then you go into business and your business kind of explodes, blows up, it becomes bigger, and it's like harder to manage as one person.
Right.
You need a team of people that can do it. You need a team of people that can go out and that you can trust to do the job right. And so I thought it was interesting that you said that you go out and check on the jobs, because you do, you know, it is Kodiak Landscaping. You want it to reflect what the business of Kodiak is, and that's good quality, right? Like you're trusting people to do the same job that you would do, and I'm sure that was probably
and I've torn up jobs.
Wow,
that
really?
my guys put down or built, and I'm like, I don't like that.
Okay.
Not that the customer said anything, but it's because of me.
Right, it's your business image.
I want to be able to sleep at night.
Sure.
And I wouldn't be here for 30 years if I didn't do that.
Absolutely.
So we did classes and education, and that's through the Landscape Association.
Okay.
So, you know, I've been flown to Canada for classes, Tennessee, you know, Maryland, you know, different, and I meet different owners and I meet different businesses on how to, you know, do things better. Because you can't reinvent the wheel.
Sure.
So all I want to do is take what I know and try to make it better.
Do you train all of your employees when you do that? So like you go to a class, you learn a new technique, you train them on how to do it?
Yeah, so like during the winter, it's most, you know, that's when, like once a week, we're going to either hardscape roundtables, we're going to trade shows. Okay. And I bring, you know, a bunch of employees and they like it.
Great, keeps them busy too.
They get to see the new equipment, they get to see the new tools, they get to, you know, we can put together different ideas. I do meet with my foremans and see throughout the year how can we make this better? Okay. Or how can this job go faster? And also how can we make more money? Okay. You know, we don't want to waste time. You know, in high school, I do wish that there was some kind of business program.
Yeah. We've got it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the 90s, I think it was just a co-op program. It was just like a work-study program. Like you're going to take classes here and then you're going to go out and work. But I don't know that there was as much instruction. I think it was a few things, but it wasn't in the early 90s as much as we.
So I had horticulture. Yeah. And earth science, you know, I had that class. You know, I don't know if it helped me so much, but, you know, I had a really good teacher, and he liked to fish, so we went fishing together.
Sure, that's so cool.
But I had 4 years of wood shop, and I had 2 years of auto shop, I had 2 years of metal shop, and I think those classes helped me go into landscaping, and also know what, you know, if I hire a mechanic, I kind of know what to expect or see, or if he's doing it right or wrong, or I know what parts to order, and maybe we can fix ourselves.
Yeah, that saves time and money.
So those classes really helped me. You know, I do wish, you know, I had a business class.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the business stuff I had to learn on my own.
Yeah.
I did take business classes in college. Okay. But, you know, I'm more hands-on. Yeah. So by making mistakes, you're like, all right, I'm not going to do that again. Yeah. You know, and there's, you know, different types of things like that.
You said your dad was an investor. Did you, along the way, have like any other mentors that helped you with the business side of things?
Yeah, so just, you know, there's another guy, Chris James Landscaping, Borst Landscaping. Yeah. Those guys helped me. One of my biggest ones, is the biggest, and still is Jeff Bailey from Haskell Paving.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're friends. I look up to him, and he helps me all the time. That's great. Sometimes I'm too annoying, and I'm texting him or I'm calling him, but we do a lot of work for him.
Okay.
And then he does all my trucking, and he does a lot of work for me, too.
So win-win.
But like, we drove out to the Michigan-Penn State game. My son was probably bored in the back seat because all we were talking about was work and just bouncing and feeding off each other.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm thinking like modern day, you had a lot of success in the 90s, coming into the 2000s, I'm sure it was like you're building your business still. Was there ever a point where, you mentioned the drought before, was there ever a time, like was it COVID, was there a time in the 2000s where things were difficult and you had to like maybe change your business or pivot a little bit?
Yes, actually COVID was our best year.
Interesting.
Everyone was home. They finally gave landscapers, you know, respected landscapers, or gave us a title that we're essential. And that was very helpful. Okay. Because we worked more than we ever worked. Okay. My guys, they wanted more hours because they're like, we can't do anything at home, so can we work more? Sure. So I had to work more, and you know, everyone's staying home, everyone's not doing anything, but they're looking at their yards. They want to make their backyards, you know, nice. And everyone was working and traveling. they didn't really think about it then.
That makes so much sense. Like during COVID, the only thing that was our oasis was our home.
Yeah.
Like your whole life, work, school, everything was your house, and that was it.
I mean,
your
I
yard.
leave when it's dark in the morning, and I come home at night. So like on Saturdays and Sundays, I want to enjoy my yard.
Yeah.
But also we started doing, in the 90s, late 90s, we started landscape lighting. So we can make those houses look really good at nighttime when you come home. Mm-hmm. So that's why I have 120 lights in my backyard. So when I come home, I can still enjoy my landscape.
Do you guys do installations too for
Yes.
customers? That's awesome. I actually didn't even realize that. Yeah. I always notice that when you drive around like nicer neighborhoods, you see that a lot of people do have nice lighting in their yard at night, and you're like, "Ooh, that looks so good."
So if you think about it, all right, so I just did a $100,000 landscape for you, right? And you're like, well, I go to work when it's dark, and I come home when it's dark. I don't really get to enjoy it. And I'm like, well, I can do some landscape
I gotcha.
lighting. Now you come home from work, you're like, wow, look at my patio, look at my brick walls, look at my fire pit, look at my fireplace. So now you can enjoy it and everything.
The way I always thought of it was like, oh, it's safer, right? I'm always in that safety mindset because my husband's in law enforcement, but I always think like, okay, if the house is well lit, we don't have to worry about people.
It's true that. So that's another selling tool.
But I never thought about the enjoyment piece, that people that have that kind of wealth and are putting that kind of money into their yard, they'd still want to enjoy it, and it might be dark.
Yeah, and you don't have to have a $100,000 landscape. I mean, you can have a $300 landscape, or you can just have one tree that you want to enjoy that one tree, but we can make it, you can enjoy it at night. Now we're doing Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And you can control your landscape lights with your phone, Bluetooth. You can change all the colors of your lights to St. Patty's Day, you can put them green. You can put them for Christmas.
The Govee lights?
Yeah.
We have.
So you can, these are regular lights, the up lights we're doing.
Okay.
And we're doing sound outside now.
That's cool.
So we're installing sounds when you're outside, you're enjoying it.
Interesting.
So you're always changing, and I found out, as I got older, I got wiser, I got smarter, and talking to other people, finding out different niches and see what we can do better. Because it's not just me, I'm only as good as my team. So if my team is good, I'm good. If they're good, I'm good. But you said about before, what really hurt besides the drought. I think it was like around 2012 or 2010, I don't know, around then.
The financial crisis after that?
Yes, so that, I didn't get my H-2B workers, so I had, work visas that we did for 15 years. Wow. So we had 3 countries that we'll do: Guatemala, Mexico, and Costa Rica. Yeah. So we had work visas. They would come here on visas, but it cost me like maybe $30,000 a year, but it wasn't guaranteed. But we were doing it for 13, 15 years, and it was helping us a lot. We didn't get those guys, and then all of a sudden, the crash and, all that stuff. So we had to downsize quite a bit. That was one of the toughest years for me. Also, I had 2 children, so I had to think about their future, what I'm going to do. And I almost did work for Haskell Paving because Jeff wanted me to work for him. He actually gave me, made a really good deal for me, and I was like this close to doing it. But then I was like, all the stuff I worked, up from high school.
Sure.
And not to throw it away.
At that point.
Yeah, not to throw it away, but just, not have it anymore.
Yeah.
I just had to work through it.
Was it like this gut feeling, like I think I should just keep going with this? Like I've built it up for 15 years.
It was a gut feeling. I mean, even my family members, they're like, Bob, it's fine. Do this. This is better. We're going to have health insurance. We're going to have, you're going to have a salary. You don't have to worry about. You can work less hours. And one thing I was like, I won't work less hours. Jeff will probably have me work more. So that's a
tough choice to make though with small kids. you know, I feel like as a parent myself, and I have a small child, it's like the security sometimes does sway you a little bit.
It was hard.
Yeah, that's a hard decision to make.
I couldn't sleep. There was a lot of sleepless nights.
And so you guys finally kind of climbed out of this thing and overcame it. Did you have to make some changes, or it just kind of?
We went through we got rid of some employees.
Okay.
We downsized. I mean, at one time I had 22 employees, and I felt like I was just working just to collect money and then spend money. I wasn't really making a profit. I wasn't really, you know, making any money for myself. I didn't have time for myself.
Yeah.
And that was something I didn't want to do. One of my foremans told me, Bob, let's work on quality instead of quantity. Because when I was 10 years old, on that tractor cutting these lawns, I wanted 100 employees, I wanted 100 trucks. That's what I thought it was. And that's what I thought how I can be.
Okay.
And I realized, no, that's not what I want to do.
Because it changes your quality.
Yes.
The bigger you get, the harder it is to control that span of control.
It's a monster.
So before you had mentioned about, you know, teachers and them being customers of yours for a long time, I feel like your business in the community is just like a huge part of our community. Like we see the trucks around the community. Tell me about that side of your business, like wanting to give back or do things for the community, all of that stuff.
I want to give back. I love the community and I help whenever I can. It feels good when someone says, you know, Bob, I remembered, you know, what you did for me. I'm getting a little choked up because I do take pride in my work, but I take pride in the community too.
Sure.
I've been doing Arbor Day for the past 25 years. So we do it through Haskell School, Wanacue School, Ringwood. Last year we did 2 schools in Ringwood. I think I saw over 600 kids.
That's awesome.
So I make brochures, I meet the kids, and what's nice about it is I do see these kids later on in classes or Arbor Days, and they're like, oh, Mr. Pedatella, I remember you told me this, I remember you told me that, and then other kids, oh, I remember seeing you, and I'll ask them questions, and then I don't remember that. So, but I love
Remind me the answer.
Yeah, I love seeing the kids, and to see them, and you know, if I can teach them how to plant one tree, you know, they can plant a tree at home.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's they want to go into landscaping, or if they want to learn about trees, or learn about, you know, being a forestry company, you know, and you know, that's for me giving back. So I buy the trees, you know, I spend my time, I buy the brochures, and I do this for the community. It's something I like. It's in April, and it's a national holiday for, you know, that.
Sure.
The other thing too is, you know, I worked at Haskell School one year. They got a grant, and I worked with the students, and we built an outdoor education area.
Oh.
But it was really cool because it was the 7th and 8th graders, and they were actually doing the work. It was hard for me just to point and show them instead of doing the work, but the girls actually did the best.
Wow,
Yeah.
I love that. Go girls.
I was surprised because I didn't think they wanted to get dirty or stuff, but we built walls, we did the gardens, and it was a really cool time, and I would like to do that again.
That's awesome.
And it's still there at Haskell School in the back.
I'm gonna go check that out. That's really neat.
So, and we've done work at parks, we've done pavers at Wanacue School, we did, you know, gardens in Ringwood.
Didn't you guys do the pavers over here by the locker room?
Yes.
Out here too?
Yeah,
Looks
we
great,
did
by
the
the way.
plantings there. Yeah, and also too, we did, I played football at Chris DeSimone.
Okay. You
So-
did the rock out there. Oh, I didn't realize that.
So
Okay.
it was an honor when they asked me to donate my time.
Sure.
So me and my guys, we picked up the rock. They made a plaque for us. We built a garden, and every year, you know, I mulch it. I plant flowers there, and it's really nice. You know,
It is really nice.
because I was able to do that for Chris,
Yeah.
and I played with Chris, but also to the 9/11 victims.
Yeah.
And you know, between Ringwood and Haskell, I think there was 3.
Yeah.
So to do that for my community was very important to me.
Yeah.
And it's going to be there forever.
Yeah. Kind of like the Addis Park sign. I keep thinking about that. Like I drive by that every day.
Now you're
and
gonna,
now I'll think
now
about
you're gonna
that.
think about me doing it.
Cool.
We do a lot of hay rides. So we do it for the PTO in Wanacue School. We do it for Wanacue Day, and we do the St. Patty's Day. We do like 2 or 3 floats there.
That's awesome.
So those are things that cost us money as a business. I pay my employees for it, but it's giving back to the community. It's it's showing the community that we're involved.
Sure.
And I think that my customers and my old teachers like seeing it.
Mr. E.
Yeah.
I love that.
I was here, I got invited to be on the field for the ribbon cutting for the turf field. And that was really nice to be a part of that. And that's going to be there forever.
Sure. I think this school being a community in the way that it is with alumni and trying to honor everybody, I think that is what makes Lakeland really unique. And I really, as a staff member and as an alumni myself, that's important to me too.
Yeah,
I love that.
And I love working at Lakeland. I also get another chance to be at Lakeland.
Sure.
And I think maybe he knows that, and that's why he waits till last minute. But we get it done, and it's very helpful to him, and I like it because it's pride for me.
Sure. So in the spirit of like the community and giving back, like I'm just thinking about reflecting on what you were saying about the Haskell Wanacue students. I'm sure some of them that you've done this with for Arbor Day, or maybe even students here. What advice do you have for young people maybe wanting to start their own business, landscaping business? Like, what would you say is the biggest advice from what you've learned in the last 30 years?
My dad always told me to ask questions.
Okay.
So, find people in your town that are in business, either landscapers or in a bank, and talk to them and just ask them questions, because they really want to see younger people coming up, and they want to see and help people in town.
Sure.
The people that love the town are going to help the town. So if you can help, a student that's interested in landscaping, it's really good. I hire, and I've been doing this for over 20 years, we hire 1 or 2 Lakeland students a year.
Okay.
Yeah. One of my students was Dan Deegan, and he played on the football team.
Sure did.
And we did paver patio for him this summer.
Isn't it funny how that comes full
circle?
circle?
His new house.
That's funny.
And then he referred me to another guy. So and that's why I do it.
That's
and
awesome.
to see Dan, and he was one of my best employees.
Wow.
And I didn't want him to go on college. I wanted him to stay with me, but he's doing well. I think he works in Manhattan, the city.
Yeah. He graduated with my brothers.
So
that's
is good.
What like a small world this world is. Yeah.
So that right there just made it important for me.
That's amazing. So awesome.
Doing that, and being also a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Wanacue had a Chamber of Commerce, been a member of the Chamber of Commerce for 20 years.
Yeah.
Ringwood's just starting their Chamber of Commerce back. They had to take a break over COVID.
Yeah.
But it's really nice because they either have dinners or lunches, and you get to work with local businesses.
I love that.
I coached football and baseball at Wanacue and Ringwood for my sons and for other kids. I'm still a current coach at Lakeland for track. I do pole vaulting.
Did any of the skills that you got from the sports teams kind of help your mindset? Like, I always think about playing sports and how to learn to work in teams, but I think it's so important to build a good team and you said it before, about like, if my team's happy and they're good, I'm good.
Yes.
Do you feel like that mindset comes from sports?
So yes, and my dad was always he was always into business, but also he was in sports.
Okay.
And I rely a lot on sports from Lakeland, where Kodiak is. And I think it helped me, being a captain for 2 years. I was a captain for 2 years on track, and that helped me to work with others.
Yeah.
You can also see that everyone has a role. So if you look at it like a football team or a track team, everyone has a role, everyone has a position.
Sure.
Well, that's the same thing in Kodiak team. So, and you can find out, what skills a person has, and that's what we try to do, what you're really good at, and we try to have you do that. Because there are some women or there's some guys that they're really good at one or a couple things. So I try to find that, and that's what I put them at.
Love that. Keeps the business efficient.
Yes.
But the work is good quality.
Right.
Because this is the best for this job.
Yes.
This is the best
And
person.
I do want everyone to learn a little bit of everything, but we do treat Kodiak as a team. We have tailgate meetings every week, and which I buy breakfast, and it's a safety meeting. But also, too, we have team meetings, which we want to know how to make Kodiak better.
Okay.
And we can, improve, and what we can do for our customers.
Sure.
But yeah, working in sports, I thought it was really good, and I thought it really helped me a lot because you had to work with different people.
Sure.
And I think that's what you need to build a team or even a business. It doesn't have to be landscaping, but putting a team together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. This was awesome. So good to see you. Thank you for coming, and thank you for always supporting Lakeland. It means a lot.
Well, I want to continue more, and if I can help out more in Lakeland, that'll be good for me.
Thank you for joining us on the Lakeland Community Podcast. Check out future episodes on the Lakeland Media YouTube page and wherever you find your podcasts.